Well, similar to the national stage, Republicans in Idaho made gains in the legislature in Idaho. Every seat in the House and Senate was up for election, and we're now getting a pretty clear picture of what the complexion of the legislature will be in 2025 when that legislative session begins in January. Joe Paris back at the touch screen right here to talk about the districts that actually did flip and the reaction from party leaders.
Yes, so when election results are certified in the coming weeks, the Idaho Republican Party is set to further expand their supermajority control at the Idaho State House. So the Republicans will control 91 out of 105 seats. You do the math, that leaves 14 for Democrats. So this is a change, we believe, of 4 seats. So that would be +4 for the GOP, -4 for the Dems. The specific seat flips in the Idaho Senate, the Republicans flip District 15 and District 26. So you can see here, just for example, the District 15 race between Cody Galloway and Rick Just. This one was razor thin deep into the night. You can see, though, that Cody Galloway saw a really strong show of support on the west end of the district as well as on the north and south. There were some areas here in the center that Mr. Just was able to get a sizable amount of votes, to be clear, but not enough to win that race. So that's just one of the examples in the Boise area. In the Idaho House, for example, Republicans, they flipped seats in District 26 and District 29. If we scroll down to District 26 here, for example, you can see how close the Jack Nelson, Chris Hansen race was. This is over in the area of, I guess, Twin Falls. The northern side for Chris Hansen, you can see a clear demographic turnout there. Again, down in the south is where Jack Nelson had his big support base as well. So this afternoon, I spoke with Republicans and Democrats, just with the caveat, to be clear, that the votes are still needing to be certified. Representative Dustin Manwaring, a leader with the Idaho GOP House, he breaks it down again with the caveat with votes being counted.
We're still waiting for one precinct left. I think some of the earlier absentee votes in Blaine County are still pending. So there's one precinct out. So we can't confirm that it'll be 4 seats for sure, but we know we picked up a House seat and a Senate seat. I think that red wave that people saw last night is happening in Idaho as well. We've expanded. We've already been a supermajority, obviously. So it's also another statement by the voters that they believe in what the Republicans in Idaho are doing and doing going forward. We're going to have even more responsibility to lead our state.
So you want to call it a supermajority? You can now call it a super duper majority. And across the aisle, the Idaho Democrats, they're heading into the session now with an even bigger disadvantage than they've seen in recent years. Senate Minority Leader Melissa Wintrow set the tone for the Dems this afternoon.
The evening certainly was disappointing because we put a lot of time and effort and we really left everything on the field. I think in the wave we saw in our country, it also affected our state, but we have so much to be proud of. We knocked tens of thousands of doors. We made tens of thousands of phone calls. So I think, I'm the same person I was yesterday as I am today, and I will be tomorrow. And regardless of the numbers, the Idaho Democrats in the Senate and the House, we're going to fight very hard for our families and our working families in Idaho.
So the next step at the legislature will be the inter-party elections, the leadership elections. For example, Brian, we know that the current Speaker of the House, Mike Moyle, he's going to be running for that position again. On the Senate side, though, the Senate Pro Tem Chuck Winder, he lost in May. So we know there will at least be one new major leader in the Idaho Senate. I just wanted to draw attention. I know you won't be able to see it on the board. Steve Birch won by about 200 votes. Just a reminder, every vote counts.
Yeah, every vote counts. The Democrats did put up their biggest effort of late ever, I guess, in recent history, but to no avail. The other thing is that these switching of seats, it will affect kind of percentage and therefore committee assignments, right?
Yeah, that is true. And we saw actually last year controversy with Speaker Moyle, who decided to round down in terms of the chairs on major committees. So, Brian, the complexion of the influence the Democrats will have will change. We'll figure out, though, exactly how that falls in January.
There aren't too many of them in committees. This may lower that even more. All right, thank you very much, Joe.